What's going on, you guys? It's Cody Stack. Welcome back to another video. In today's video, we are going to talk about why I think it's finally time for me to start buying some additional shares of NIO. I think that NIO has been trading pretty flat for the last little bit. Yes, it's had some ups. Yes, it's had some downs. But I think that it's in a position where as we go into NIO day, we could very well see a pretty big run up here in the next couple of weeks. I think there's going to be another little EV surge as we go into the new year. And I think that as we go into the new presidency here in the United States, there's going to be this renewed rally around this company and around just EV stocks in general. I think we're going to see another little surge. If you look back at Tesla stock, you'll see that every couple months we seem to have this surge of just interest in the stock. It gets in the news, and a lot of people start buying into it. They start buying into it and it pushes the price up, and then it'll sell off a little bit. Oftentimes these absolutely massive run-ups with Tesla do result in a pretty big pullback as well. So we have seen that. I'm not expecting it to be as drastic for NIO, but I do think that we'll go through one of these other little rallies where we do see a price increase and then it will come back down and kind of settle at a new low, which I do expect to be higher than where it's currently trading at right now in that, roughly mid $40 range. That being said, I do think we're going to see a little bit of a rally around this company, and I think that for me, I at least want to get back in and start buying some shares again. This is a stock that I first got into when it was down in like the $15 a share mark. So I'm sitting pretty nicely on the shares that I've got, but I do want to buy back in and buy a little bit more into this company because I do think there's a long-term growth, and I do think we're going to see another little rally here in the next little bit. I would not be surprised to see this share price climb over that $50 mark, even into mid 50s or even above $60 as we go into NIO day. I think there's going to be a lot of hype around it. I think it's going to be one of those things where it runs up, and then as we get NIO day, I don't want to say the news is going to disappoint. We're going to talk about some of the things here in the video about what this is actually, what we're expecting to be announced at NIO day, but I do think that the share price, I think it's going to see the run up beforehand, and then we'll see a sell off afterwards after the news has passed. So what I want to do is I want to start by jumping into my computer here. We're going to take a look at the share price, and then we will actually talk about what we expect to see on NIO day and some of the catalysts around why I think this particular company could see a share price increase over the next little bit, and why I think that there will be a little bit of a rally. So without further ado, let's jump right in and talk about the share price, where it's at, where it's been, and where I see it going over the next little bit. All right, guys, so as we jump into the Webull platform here, make sure to get your 4 free stocks with the Webull platform. When you open an account and deposit $100 into your account, you're going to get 4 free stocks valued up to at least $21, possibly even higher. So it's automatically a 21% return on your money, which is pretty dang good. Anytime you can secure that, you definitely should. So we're looking at the Webull platform here. We've got this pulled up. We're looking at NIO. NIO had an awesome day today. We started out the day opening here roughly about $46 is where it opened at. It was about 46. What was it at? It was, just under 46, and did climb all the way to $48 today and 38 cents, and is down just a hair after hours, not even enough to count really, 0.04% after hours. So we're sitting at $48. If we actually zoom out and take a wider look at where the stock has been over the last little bit, this is going to give us a very good measure of where we're at. So you can see there's kind of a support line here in this low $40 mark. We had a support here at 41, another one here at 41, and then over here we actually did break down below this. I believe it was at like 39 at one point during the day, intraday, and man, I wish I would have bought at that point because that was definitely the buy target. But there was a lot of uncertainty. Everything was selling off at this point, and so I was like, is it going to go lower? What's going to happen? Sure enough, it climbed right back up. Did hit $48 here early last week before selling off again and then climbing here again. Honestly, in my own opinion, I think we're going to continue to see it climb. It might trade a little bit flat, but I don't think we're going to get back down to this low $40 mark at least until middle of January, possibly going into late January if it does sell off again. I don't know if it's ever going to go that low. I would not be surprised to see this trade around the high $40 mark, low $50 mark as we go into NIO day. I would not be surprised to see it climb above $60 going into that time frame as we even get a little bit closer than that. So what I want to talk about is some of the catalysts as to why we're looking at NIO and why we think it actually might see a big increase. Well, we did see NIO increase today, and one of the things that I've noticed about NIO as I've been researching their company, as I've been looking at what's going on with the social media and just kind of in the news and different investor articles and just YouTube, everything. One of the things I noticed is that NIO has a very good brand built around them. People in the NIO brand, people who own NIO, it's a company, it's a brand, it's a lifestyle that people want to be a part of. It's not just another EV manufacturer who's making electric vehicles. It goes beyond that. I think everybody's looking at this and saying, they're looking at the EV industry and saying, oh, electric vehicles are the future. And I think that's true, but I think it goes beyond that. I think people are missing noticing the fact that it's not just the fact that it's an electric vehicle versus an internal combustion engine vehicle. I think it's actually the point that you've got self-driving, which we're expecting to continue to increase and get better and better every single day. And it's also the fact that you've got these new vehicles coming onto the market that are building a brand and hype around them. You know, just like you've got other companies that have really good hype and really good brand loyalty, such as Porsche or Mercedes, a lot of people who buy into these companies or buy into these car brands will stick with that car brand for their entire life, right? Because they just love what the brand has to offer. Same thing with Ferrari. I mean, you know, like you get these brands that just have this massive loyalty to them. And I think that's what NIO is building. I think Tesla's done a pretty good job with that because they were the leader in this space. And I think that for China, NIO is going to be that player as well. They're building this brand around them. It's not like some of these other Chinese manufacturers who are just pumping out electric vehicles for the cheapest cost. People are buying NIOs because they want to be a part of that brand. They want to associate their lifestyle with that brand as well. Some of the things that we're expecting to see at NIO Day is we're expected to see them release their new sedan, which I think is going to be hugely popular. Obviously, a lot of the cars in China are going to be sedans, and NIO is at the higher end of their price range for the market that they're in. They're not selling the lowest of the low when it comes to EVs. They are selling a higher end product, and I think that if they can break into that higher end sedan market, they're going to do extremely well because that is a very popular car type in China. Most people are expecting it to kind of look like the Audi A7, which of course is going to be a beautiful car. I really like the NIO cars. In some instances, I kind of even think they look a little bit better than Teslas. You know, they just have a little bit better styling. I think that they're just, I think that the general masses, I'm kind of weird. I don't know. I like kind of weird looking cars. I like Porsches. I like cars that are different, whereas a lot of people don't. And I think for America, not that this matters for America because NIO's not here, but I think that most people kind of generally like one style of car. And I think NIO's really captured that. And so I think that the NIO sedan is going to do very well. So that's something I'm really excited to see. The other thing we're expecting them to reveal is that they have a 150 kilowatt hour battery, which is going to be absolutely phenomenal. I think it's supposed to go up to 900 kilometers of range on this battery, which is, I mean, just absolutely amazing. That's going to be like blowing every other car out of the water. Now, this is a little bit interesting because they are also known for their battery as a service system where they basically sell you the car without the battery and then allow you to lease the car, or lease the battery, I mean, on a $150 a month subscription plan, where basically you just go, you drive to the station, they change out the battery, and you drive around with it till it's empty, and then you go get it changed again. So you're changing out the battery every single time you need to fill up. So this is something that is a little bit unique, you know, $150 a month, but they are selling you the car for about $10,000 less, American dollars. All these numbers are in American dollars. They're selling it to you for about $10,000 less because you don't actually own the battery. So this is kind of an interesting business model. You know, on one hand, they are releasing we're expecting them to release a 150 kilowatt hour battery, which would give you tons of range for the people who want to own their battery and don't want to worry about range anxiety. And then on the other hand, you've got people who might just be driving around town, might only drive a couple miles a day. And, you know, the battery leasing is a better option for them to get into the car for a cheaper price to start with. They've got both ends of the spectrum here. And I think that with both of these options, range anxiety is going to disappear. You know, one of the things that people always talk about, especially here in America, is look, range anxiety is, you know, a big problem. It's really hard to get from one state or one city to the next state or city. And I think that that's, you know, really going to disappear pretty quickly because of how far the EV technology has come. It's really not that hard to get your battery charged up in a short amount of time, especially using Tesla supercharger. I mean, yeah, it's a couple minutes longer than it would take for gas, but like it's really not that big of a deal. And even driving around town, I mean, you know, for most people, they're going to plug in their car at home. So really worrying about range anxiety, I think, is a little bit overblown, especially as we go into the future and you get more chargers out in every single location. I don't know. I think range anxiety is going to be something that completely disappears. And I think NIO is going to absolutely nail this because they've got battery as a service on one hand, and then they've got this 150 kilowatt battery that they're expected to release. That's absolutely going to change the game because you won't have to fill up as often as you would with a smaller kilowatt hour battery. They are also expected to announce some updates with how their self-driving technology has gotten better over the past couple of months, and we should also expect to see some other smaller details as well. It'll be really interesting to see where this goes. I think that honestly, when it comes to EVs, the ultimate play over the next 5, 10, 15 years is going to be which company can get out there and produce these self-driving vehicles first. You know, which one, who's going to do it better, who's going to do it first, who's going to make the biggest strides in this space. I think that's going to be the most critical thing when it comes to who wins and who loses in this EV space. It's not just about making electric vehicles. You know, I think that a lot of these big manufacturers, Toyota, Volkswagen, Audi, you know, a lot of these other companies are missing it. You know, it's not just the fact that, hey, people want to convert to EVs, it's the fact that we're going to self-driving. This is the next step beyond that. And I think that a lot of these big manufacturers, I wouldn't be surprised to see them kind of fall off to the wayside as we go into this over the coming years, because they might not have the technology. You know, they might end up leasing it. Yeah, you might like the look of a Toyota car better, or you might like their reliability or whatever. But I think that honestly, these companies might have to end up leasing that technology and that software from companies like Tesla, who already have all of this stuff in place. I know there's a lot of other companies out there as well, but that's just for one example. I think this is going to be the big play. That's kind of what I'm banking on with NIO. I think they're going to be one of the biggest players in this space, and I think they've got a really good chance to be one of the first to market to actually, you know, make a mass adoption with this technology. I think there's going to be a lot of analysts. I think Wall Street's going to pick up on it. I think traders are going to pick up on it. And of course, all of us retail investors are going to pick up on this as well. And I think that as we go into the future, there's going to be massive hype around NIO, and I will not be surprised to see this run up. I'm even tempted to buy not only shares, but also some call options on the stock, just because I'm so bullish around the potential runs that we're going to see here in the next little bit. So I don't know. I'm not going to commit to anything just yet on the option side. I am buying shares. I will, disclose that and say, look, I am bullish on this. I do think it's going to run up. Even at this increased price, I think I want to pick up some additional shares because I think there's a very good long-term outlook for this. Even though the stock is expensive, I still think it's worth owning, and I still think it's a company and a stock that I want to own over the next 5 to 10 years. So anyways, guys, with that being said, thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to give me a thumbs up here on the video. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already done so. We talk about all things money, stocks, and real estate here on the channel. Lately, I'm talking a lot about stocks because I'm just like addicted to this. I absolutely love talking about it. It's been really fun to follow these companies, learn more about them, and see your portfolio grow, hopefully every single day, right? So follow me, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already done so, and don't forget to check out the Patreon as well. There's a link in the description below for that. The first 20 people who get into the Patreon are going to get exclusive access to my content for just $1 because they're an OG supporter. And it's just my way of saying thank you. Thank you for supporting the channel, and thank you for supporting me in my journey. You're going to get exclusive access to some of the stock picks that I have. Eventually, you're going to get access to everything I do in the stock portfolio. I just need to kind of build it out and get everything organized and put onto the platform there as we continue to grow that Patreon community. So definitely go check us out over there. If you want to support the channel, that's the best way to do it. With all that being said, guys, thank you so much for watching. I will catch you in the next one.